I'm going to say what I got to say, and I ain't going to say no more. I do not understand equality in America, or the lack of equality in America. I know that there is evil at play, and for those who think that racism and colorism does not still exist, it does exist. Am I here to fight against it? No, but I am here to state the obvious and state facts. Ever since the head coach of Boston Celtics, the head coach of the Boston Celtics, Ime Udoka, ever since they came out with a couple of days that he violated the company policy, the code of ethics in the Boston Celtics organization by having inappropriate relations with maybe one or more females within that organization, some maybe being consensual. I don't have all those facts, but whatever the basis of the relationship, it's not so bad that he's getting fired. But they are suspending him for a full term, for a full year. That's not to say they're going to have him back after that year. And it's not to say they're not going to have him back after that year. But whatever he did was not so egregious to go ahead and do a full termination. But they suspend him for a year. Now, this is not what I have a gripe with. If they had something in place, something in policy that this man has violated, then that's cool. And there's a separate issue on that I do want to get to. But the first issue that I want to get to is there has been more coverage on him and his alleged violation of this company policy within the Boston Celtic organization than this Brett Favre situation and this misappropriation of funds. And let me stop using these big words, misappropriation, and just call it what it was: stealing welfare funds. See, what I don't get about this country is if a melanated person steals $20, we got to hear about it for 6 months on every news channel. If a melanated person violates company policy, we got to talk about this for 2 and 3 weeks on every major platform. Brett Favre gets a 2-minute segment at best. Why is he not on every major platform? And don't tell me that the story has run out when we're dealing with millions of dollars in welfare funds stolen from poor people by a rich and privileged person, by a person who comes from the same area as he stole from the same state as he stole from. Boy, how it must feel to have a lighter hue on your skin tone. Boy, how it must feel to be privileged and rich in America. Justice is way different for a person with money, power, influence, and and privilege. Justice is different. If you can afford to buy your way out of trouble here, you can, unless you're melanated. And then you only get away with it if you OJ. And that's one time because they came back around and got him. I'm telling you, I have heard about this Ime Udoka story for the last couple of days, and they have milked it to death. I understand. He violated company policy. It could not have been the R word or non-consensual, because that would have been automatic termination. Whether that would have been league. The league did not interact on this because this is within the Boston Celtics organization. Now, another thing I saw on the internet where Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. was saying there were more parties involved. But we live in a society now where it's ultra hypersensitive, and you can't speak on the females involved. They have to cover and protect those females. Well, that's okay. I understand. But listen, if you're going to put this man on blast, and he was not the only one who violated this company policy, the other people have to be put on blast as well. That's just, but wait a minute. Let's tear down the melanated masculine figure. So it's two wars that strikes this man has against him. He's melanated and he's a man. In 2022, that's a death sentence. He's all but blessed that they didn't automatically terminate him. And who knows within a year if some young coach comes in and takes his place and wins the title this year, because that team was just in the finals last year. He may not have a job after this season. And we sit here and we pretend that the Brett Favre thing is just getting swept under the rug, just like the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, where the people misappropriated the funds, and those water pipes and the underground water should have been fixed years and years and years ago. But they took the funding. I'm sorry, sinuses, guys. They took the funding and invested it in the areas where more affluent, lighter hue people stay. Let's not pretend that ain't happening. And let's not pretend that that's not as big of a story as Ime Udoka from the Boston Celtics being suspended for a year for violating company policy. Let's not pretend that we don't live in a society that is ignoring these facts. Now, guess what? Am I upset? Maybe just a little bit. But I'm just saying and pointing out the facts. This is not my war to fight, but it is my job to put these facts out here. Why am I hearing about this man over and over and over every time I turn on the news cycle? They talking about a black man who coaches basketball. And this is the biggest story. Really not releasing enough facts to even understand, other than the fact that they had a company policy that was violated. So it shouldn't even be as big of a story. And you cover and protect the other parties because they are female. If it was violated on both sides, it should be, and he's going to have to be reprimanded and blasted and is made public, she should be done as well. And from what I understand, the man's not married. He's not married. I don't know if the other party is married and they're trying to protect their side. I don't know. But right is right and wrong is wrong. If you did it, you did it, or whatever. It is what it is. But I'm more concerned with why we're not hearing about Brett Favre more, why we're not hearing about the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, and people taking baths and drinking water is tainted and poisoned and nasty. And what can we do about fixing this? What can we do about reparations? And yeah, all of that. Same thing with Brett Favre. Now, I need to know what the penalty is going to be, what the retribution is going to be. Don't come for me, because it won't be nobody there when you get there. I'm not trying to save the world. I'm trying to save myself. And this ain't my battle, but I do state facts. Y'all be blessed.